Hello and welcome to Nights Ethereal Epiphanies. This is my channel where I talk about all the things, my thoughts, opinions, life, etc. And today I'm talking about something that honestly might be a little bit hard to admit, but you have to say these things out loud. Today I was thinking about, I was trying to get some work done today. I was editing a video from before. And I was then going through my task list and going through all my projects and all my ideas that I'm trying to work on right now. And I realized something that maybe I had been suffering from. And for a very long time, I had been saying, not me, that's not possible. You're super confident. But I have realized something. And maybe you all might feel the same way. So have you ever felt like you have the ability to do something, but it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be good enough. People aren't going to like it. You might get bad, negative feedback. Perhaps you feel like it's just not going to be enough. You are not going to be enough in this whatever endeavor, whatever endeavor. That is what I've been going through for quite a long time. And it's really funny because I feel like in my professional career, I don't really experience this, but as an entrepreneur and a creator, I definitely experience this. I was thinking about this, for example, about 5 or 6 years ago now, when I created my company Frau Wies. Now we've scaled it down to a newsletter that helps Black women in tech find jobs, to network with other Black women, find technical roles, and just have a supportive community. But before I had started that, there were a lot of other ideas that I had, and I definitely wanted to do something that was impactful. And it was so crazy because I had bought a bunch of different website domains and everything, and I had plans for something else before this idea. And I kept telling myself, no, don't do that because no one's going to like it. Who's going to care? Just do something that you're specifically passionate about. Do something for people that look like you. Now, I definitely think it was a great idea to do something for people that look like myself and have my same experience, etc. But this other idea that I had, now looking back, I could say if I would have moved forward with that idea, I would have made money from it. And I could have used that to then put into the community that I was building. And, now looking back, I can say that when this was all happening and I was telling myself that, who's going to like this? Who's going to pay attention to this? Why would you even do that? No one's going to care. There's too many other companies and communities doing this. I kept telling myself that you need to do this niche thing. You need to focus on people who look like you, understand you, are going through the same thing that you're going through. And it just never occurred to me that I should have gone on with this other idea and use that to supplement and support the other. And so, looking back, what that was imposter syndrome, because crazy enough, the years leading after this, when I did not move forward with that idea, there were about two or three other people and companies that did move forward with that idea, and they were making six figures. Like some of them monthly, some of them yearly. And to me, that was like so mind blowing because I always felt like, why didn't I just do that? Like, who told you, Naya, that that was not going to work out? Who told you that you shouldn't have done that? And the crazy part is that, when I started the Black Women Tech Community and Company and newsletter, many people told me, don't do that. So many people said, you'll never make money. A job board is great. You can make lots of money off a job board, but it shouldn't be so niche, etc. So I don't know why when people told me that, I listened, but I was like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. But why is it that with this other idea, I shot myself down. No one else did because I never told anyone about this other idea. I shot myself down about this. And this just all made me realize that perhaps I lacked confidence, but really the key takeaway here that I did not want to admit is that in that moment, I had imposter syndrome. I had imposter syndrome. And it was really funny because I did learn this in therapy that people that are high achievers often have imposter syndrome. Now, I'm not calling myself a high achiever. I'm sorry. I'm not calling myself a high achiever, but sorry, let me just okay, sorry about that. So yeah, I'm not calling myself a high achiever, but I am someone that for a very long time I did seek not perfection, but near perfection. And not that that was something that I wanted to do. I grew up in like an environment where didn't matter how great I did, it was like, that's not enough. That's not enough. That's not enough. You're not good enough. Blah blah blah. And so I didn't realize that that kind of came along with me into adulthood. Thankfully, not in area like every area in my life, but it still came up eventually in this area of being an entrepreneur and creator. And what I learned in therapy too is that it's so funny that a lot of people that go through imposter syndrome, they have no reason to because they have evidence of prior success, which I did have evidence of prior success. Like prior to having these two ideas for starting companies, I did have I used to do freelancing. I started my own company fixing computers and cell phones. I had a successful eBay store. I had all these things that I had an idea, I tried them, and they were successful before as far as businesses. And to this day, I don't know why I just thought that, okay, but this thing, there's no way that that oh, I think it was now that I'm talking about it. That's why I love to talk to you guys about this stuff. I remember around this time there was another job board that was so like and by the way, the companies and these ideas were not like specifically job boards, but the job board was the aspect that was going to help make money for these two businesses. And I remember at the time, there was another company that had shared their revenue, I believe, about how much they made. And I was like, oh, well, with this idea one, I'm sure I could make that as well. And then I talked myself out of it for whatever reason. Maybe I told myself secretly, and maybe my subconscious, I was telling myself like, there's no way you're going to achieve that. They're so far ahead of you, and if people are giving them money, why would they give it to you? And as I said before, long and behold, I didn't move forward with that idea. About three other people did, and they immediately started making money off of it. So it really is, I'm not even joking, hard for me to say this out loud, but in my professional career, I don't feel like I've ever experienced imposter syndrome, but definitely as a creator, entrepreneur. I also have another example. And the reason why I'm even doing this video is because it came up again this week where I realized that I'm going through imposter syndrome and I have no reason to. So I'll tell you what happened. There's someone who I'm not sure if I should give the details, but I'll say this. I have a plethora of business ideas and things I want to try out for this month. If you're new here, by the way, welcome. I'm going through something right now in life where I'm homeless and I'm trying to just figure out ways to bring stability back into my life. Okay. So if you're new here. So there is an idea that I had that I posted on Twitter years ago. And I was saying, oh my gosh, I talked to a couple of people and they heard that I was doing this thing and they were like, can you teach me how to do that? Can you turn this into a software? Can you share your templates? Can you do X, Y, and Z? And I talked to myself like, well, I mean, I think it's nice to get a couple people that, give you some traction. I mean, it's not really even giving you traction if it's only a couple of people that tell you that they're interested in your product or business idea, etc. But I posted this on Twitter, and a bunch of people had said, "I would love this X, Y, and Z." I spoke to people in person. And I just happened to be like at a online networking event or something like that, and we ended up talking about this. And so, I mean, I can say at least 10 to 15 people or more had said, "Yeah, you should do this. I would love this. I need help with this. Can I please buy this template from you?" And so it seemed like a good idea. And for whatever reason, I think at the time I was working a job where I was working lots of hours, and I think I just didn't have the time. But I think I also told myself at the time, oh, why put so much time into something you don't really have? And for what? I really told myself, if you do this and you put it out there and then there's crickets, then you wasted your time. Now looking back as an entrepreneur and creator, I have like a whole different viewpoint on this because I number one, I had imposter syndrome, but I also had that mindset of build and they will come. Because think about it, why, like, how would people know about this if you don't talk about it and tell people about it and be open about it? And, this social media places like Twitter, there's a whole build in public movement where people openly talk about their businesses and ideas as they are building them. And so what I could have been doing, if my mindset was better at the time, was that I should have been just go ahead and spending whatever downtime I had building this thing and making it so that it's shareable to other people and just have start there and then just build it up to where maybe I could have taught a course or turned this into a software X, Y, and Z. So I say all that because recently, oh, okay, recently there's someone who is doing every single thing that I had planned to do with this business idea, and they have made between ten to $12,000. And I'm sitting over here like, now I know that my system is probably way more robust. I know for sure. And had I had just even now, and by the way, I'm now going to move forward with this. I am thinking about messaging this other creator, just let them know, okay, I'm going to be releasing something similar to you. Because one thing I don't like, just very quick side note, one thing I don't like that's happened to me a lot of times as a creator too, is that sometimes I build something and someone like literally copies my work and then makes more than me. That happened to me maybe 2 or 3 years ago now because my job board newsletter was for Black women in tech and allies. Someone had just literally just copied everything from me and then funneled it to their own website and was making at least 5 to 10 times more than what I was making. So because of that, I would have rather that person have said, "Hey, I love your work. I'm just letting you know, like I'm building something that's, a competitor, or I'm building like something similar." Because a lot of us, I feel, in this sort of build in public space and stuff like that on Twitter, I feel like for the most part, people are mostly respectable, I think. And but I mean, I don't know, because also one of the people that I work with now, the same thing actually happened to her with two of her ideas as well, where, she actually got started on them and people stole from her. And this one person had stole her entire business. I don't know. What's that thing that Soldier Boy says? Like bar for bar, word for word, like this other lady stole this lady's work. I mean, with no changes other than the color of the website. So anyway, because of that, I never want to be that person where another creator is, oh my gosh, no, it stole that from me. First of all, for me personally, I had this idea years ago. It's on Twitter. It should still be on Twitter. So there's people to back up say, oh yeah, like she said this years ago that she wanted to do this. But I'm thinking about writing that creator and just letting them know, this is what I might be launching soon. So yeah, I won't go on and on about, that, but I just want to say that I'm going to move forward with this idea because if this other person did it, okay, I'll tell you that like the way that I see things. The way I see things that that person is talented. I love their work and I feel like I have something different to offer. The fact that I had been doing this longer than them, I perhaps have a very different perspective, and perhaps they have a very different perspective than I do because it's so new to them. Maybe they might be more appealing to beginners. Maybe I'm not. Who knows? There are so many people out there teaching the same things, and sometimes it resonates with some people and audiences more than others, and vice versa. So the way that I see things now that I realized that I was going through imposter syndrome with this idea is that I should just go ahead and do it. I should just do it. And it is so uncomfortable sometimes. One of the things about me is I always admire salespeople. They just have the cojones. I shouldn't say that word, right? Uh, they have the courage. They have the courage to just go and do and just talk to anyone. And the thing is, I am quite outgoing, but it's the whole, I think I'm just like very turned off from the whole like salesy thing of, hi, I'm Naya, buy my course, blah, blah, blah. I'll teach you. Like to me, it's just a little bit odd to me. But also, if I keep on with that mindset, how will I make money and get out the situation? Because the thing is, I do have a lot to offer. Someone said to me, a family member said, "You have a very broad skill set. You know a lot about a lot of different things. How are you still in this position? Go teach a course or something. Go write a book or something." And honestly, I think because if you're new here, been going through a lot, and I think that sometimes when you're in survival mode, it's easy to forget who you are and what you know and your capabilities and your potential. And I think that all ties into the imposter syndrome thing as well, is that I do believe, I'm thinking about it, I probably am going through imposter syndrome because of everything that I was going through. And I do strongly believe that when you're not in an environment that's positive and encouraging, it eats at you. And the fact that I was in a bad environment for so long, and an environment where I was made to feel inadequate for so long and, experience lots of racism, I really do think that all just kind of ate at me in ways that I didn't even see it. Just again, going through therapy, I didn't even realize that, okay, so long of, being made to feel like I wasn't good enough in other areas might have transpired to this area, right? Where maybe subconsciously what these folks were saying and making me feel like kind of transcended into this, where in this one area I feel inadequate or scared to do something, or that, oh, you know what, now that reminds me of, there's a quote that by Maya Angelou. One second, I should have it, because what I tell myself now too when I'm thinking about all this is that if Maya Angelou also felt the same way, and she created amazing, great work, right? Everyone knows who she is, highly talented. If she felt this way, that I think that normalizes the fact that I could feel the same way too. That, it is possible that I do have talents and smarts and X, Y, and Z, you know, but I'm just going through this period of time where I'm just doubting myself. But if I just go ahead and put everything out there, maybe that might validate my work, or that might bring some self-validation. I'm not really sure, but just let me just look for, let me see. By the way, I use this tool called Raycast on my Mac, so I can like quickly find things and like everything that I have. And oh, I call it like Naya's second brain. The second brain term was coined by Tiago Forte, but like I built a system where it's easy to find bookmarks and stuff like that, and quotes and etc. So, because another thing is, I don't know how some, really smart brainy academics remember things, but I cannot. So, and not on the fly at least for a lot of things. But okay, I found it here. So Maya Angelou said, I've written 11 books, but each time I think, oh, they're going to find out now. I run a game on everybody and they're going to find me out. That is how I feel about, that's so funny because that's how I feel about, I don't know, releasing my own digital products and software and courses. And I feel that way. I feel, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do this thing, and I feel like, just being honest, I feel like everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's stupid. She doesn't know how to speak. She's not eloquent. She's not smart. She's not any of those things. Who told her to do this? I think I do think that sometimes. It's so funny because I used to never be this way. But again, I just really think life has brought me to this time right now. And like when I read that quote, because I bookmarked it a long time ago. It's so funny that when I was just looking through some of my stuff for this video, I forgot I started actually to talk about it in this video. But yeah, so if Maya Angelou felt that way, then Naya can feel this way and still create and still go on to do great things and to release great projects, companies, ideas, etc. So sorry, sorry for another interruption, but I was gonna say, because I don't want to keep this video for too long. What I'm going to do next is that I'm going to whatever thing that I believe that I can succeed in and do good in, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to let that inner negative self-talk get the best of me. I know who I am. And honestly, if I launch this thing and it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that I'm a fraud or I'm inadequate or I'm not smart. It doesn't mean any of that. Sometimes it could just mean, you know what, maybe it worked out for that person, but it's not meant to work out for you. But the thing is, how would I ever know if I just don't do it? I have to do these things and then just just see what happens. So what I'm gonna do is, all of my ideas and everything, I'm just gonna do them. I'm just gonna release them. I'm going to put them out there. I'm going to promote them. I'm going to market them. I'm going to, try to speak to people. Again, if, I mentioned, not having stable place to stay. I only have 23 more days, I think. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, okay. I have 22 more days to figure things out, get some income. I need to just do all the things. So I'm not going to let negative self-talk get the best of me. I'm not going to let other people get the best of me. Normally what I have found has been helpful is to keep supportive people around me. And because I don't have that right now, I need to be my supportive village. I need to wake up every day and say, Naya, you can do this. In fact, and I know that sounds woo-woo, but you know what I was thinking about? When I first moved in, it's my first apartment, I was also going through some stuff in my career, and I didn't suffer with imposter syndrome, but I dealt with a boss who was very verbally abusive. And you know how if you deal with abuse for too long, it does make you question yourself. But I remember I had wrote on my mirror, I might have it somewhere. I believe it said, "You're smart, you're beautiful, you're kind, you are enough." That's what I wrote on my bathroom mirror, and I said it to myself every single day before I brush my teeth, anything else, I just said that to myself every single day. And it really worked to help build my confidence. That's why people do, is it called a mantra? Yeah, right? I think, yeah, that's why people do mantras. Like I'm using the wrong word right now. If so, I'll just fix it later. But yeah, I did that and it worked. So not only was I at that time have a supportive community, I mean, wow, that was probably the most supportive time I've ever had in my entire life when during that period of my life. And so right now, I don't have that, but I can be that for myself. I can say to myself, okay, today you got to focus, you can do this, just, actually, I need to plan that out about what I'm going to tell myself every day. But yeah, I just need to, what, I think I can tell myself if I got something done today, you made progress. Today, you had a win, whether it was a big win or a small win. I think just tell myself these things. And what I would love is that in 6 months from now, that imposter syndrome is nowhere in my vocabulary at all. And so I'm curious, have any of you ever felt this way? And it doesn't have to be that, like starting a business or anything else. Are you a college student and you feel like maybe your writing isn't good, although others tell you that it is? And so maybe you write a little bit less, or perhaps you write things over and over because you're nervous that the quality isn't going to be great. I'm so curious if you all have ever experienced this before. Do you even know what imposter syndrome is? I think I saw explained it in the beginning. Or have you heard of it before? It's really funny. There's a lot of terms that I have not heard of until I went to therapy. Intellectual loneliness, racial gaslighting. There's so many things I had never heard of until, I regularly saw. I mean, I've always been in therapy, but you know, and so I kind of took things a little more seriously when I was going through some stuff. But yeah. And if I could give it any advice going back to the times when I didn't have imposter syndrome, one, I would say be your own advocate, and you have to boost yourself up. And two, if you can, try to surround yourself by people who are supportive, that are going to cheer you on in life. You know, one thing I'll say is that sometimes I've had business ideas and stuff that maybe some of my friends didn't understand, and they were like, "Well, why would you do that?" Et cetera. And then I did it, and or rather, like, I had business ideas and my friends didn't understand it, but they were like, "Okay, I don't get this, but if I can help in any way, let me know. I'm here. Let me know how to support you." Right. So if you could find those type of people that just because they don't get something doesn't mean they won't support it. So if you could find people that just because they don't get it doesn't mean they won't support you, but rather they will support you and help you seek whatever out to the end. Those are the people to be around. Honestly, those are the best times of my life when I had those type of people in my life. And another thing that you can do, you can get an accountability partner. You can build a what some people call like your own personal board of directors that you can speak to. There's so many things that you can do to help beat this negative doubt and negative thoughts and imposter syndrome. So I hope this was helpful to you in some sort of way. Thank you for talking this through with me because this is kind of like just like a random thought. And then I think I mentioned that I was thinking I should turn this like into a video and talk to you guys about it because maybe you might go through the same thing. And so it's really funny. I did have some prior notes and stuff on imposter syndrome. So yeah, I'm hoping that hearing my experience is something that you can resonate with, or maybe you might even watch this and realize, oh my gosh, I'm going through the same thing. How can I fix it? Whatever it is, I hope that you're doing well today. I think I just saw in the news this morning that there are fires in California right now and that many people are losing their homes. So I hope that 'cause I mean, I know that my audience is broad, but if you are in the United States and you're in California and you know someone who is, I hope that you, your friends, and family are safe, are doing okay and doing well. And I wish the best for everyone always. We're going through some really hard times in life. And this is the even more reason why you should always be kind. At the end of my email, sometimes I usually say be kind because you just never know what's gonna happen. Like who would have ever thought that this would have happened in the wintertime, which is so odd for there to be fires around this time in California. So I'm hoping everyone is safe and doing okay. Thank you for sticking around and talking this through with me. And I hope you have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are, and speak soon. Bye.